Right, episode 1, we've got Anth Young. Anth, thanks for doing it. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome, mate. You're more than welcome.
So the
I'm
reason I wanted
literally,
to get you on as my first guest was
yeah,
because, like, I'm looking for three things in guests. Like, I'm looking for people who can inspire people. I'm looking for people who can educate people, and I'm looking for people who can entertain people. And I know for a fact you can do all three of them things. It's the most inspiring thing for me, and obviously I want to touch on a few things where, like, obviously your comedy, mental health, and like the recent fitness journey that you've been on. But like I wanted to start with the comedy because it's been really inspiring seeing like where you started off in your comedy. Like I was around for some of your first gigs and stuff,
yeah, you're
um,
welcome.
and seeing how far you've come is like I say, really inspiring. And how long have you been doing comedy for now?
I've been doing it 13 years, but for people that come to my gigs, you're genuinely one of my favourites for that reason. You came with us when I was absolutely dog shit. They say green, you're green at football, you're green at different things. I was very green at comedy. Started 13 years ago, and my first ever gig was at the Stand. You weren't there, but I'll not hold that
Or was
against
he?
you. And the reason you probably weren't there was it was a sellout. So it's a Red Raw, it's a Wednesday night, Newcastle Stand. And they let it leak that the headline act was Kevin Bridges. So not only was it sold out, it was oversold. The people had come offering free Red Bull just to get in. The Red Bull company had come. And that was my first ever gig. So I was on with Kevin Bridges headlining. Turns out to be a friend now. George Zack was comparing. Ben Crompton from Game of Thrones, 102 Dalmatians, Pram Face, he was on. Simon Donald was on, who created The Viz. I'm talking a stacked lineup, and I'm doing my first ever gig. And I walked up to Kevin Bridges and I was just like, look, everyone's like, I'd probably be doing it myself now, trying to be cool and like, chilled. I was like, hi, Kevin, big fan. Can I have a photograph? And he said, only if you're funny. And I was like, oh, it's my first gig. And he was like, you'll be fine. And yeah, I went out, done 5 minutes, got 3 applause breaks, done mint. Looking back, I'm chasing that life ever since. That's why I've kept going. I was chasing that feeling, that adrenaline rush, and went back, got me photo with Kevin, and the whole night was amazing. And then like the following week, I had a gig at a place called the Star and Shadow Cinema in Heaton. There was about 9 people in, died on my arse. And I was like, oh, that's what comedy is it? That's where my career's going. And yeah, I've just been chasing the Stand feeling ever since. And a lot of hard work goes into comedy. You hear people being an overnight success. My friend Louise Young's just done live at the Apollo. What you haven't seen is me and Louise like doing shitty gigs to 7 or 8 people on a weekend. So there's no such thing as an overnight success in comedy. There's a lot of hard work goes into it, and it's the only job I've ever stuck at. I've really stuck at comedy. I love doing it. So yeah, that's my comedy journey. That's how I got started in it. I'll tell you how I got started in it, Dan. I'm not going to name them, but you know who I'm on about. I was watching a comedian at Gav Webster's Sunday Assembly, and he wasn't doing very well.
Obviously not Gav.
No, it wasn't. We both love Gav. Hey,
Yeah.
wrote that bastard Michelle. Love Gav. Look, you couldn't get moved for pandas. Love Gav. But no, he was dying on his little backside. And he's still going now. That's the mad thing about this. And I was looking into me pint, and I had my mate Duncan with us. He's doing really well now. He's got Faulkner Films. I was staring at me pint, and I turned to Duncan and I went, I could do that. Well, go on then. So I pulled Richard Manager. I was like, how do I do this? And he's like, email Eva. And I'd done that. And yeah, from that moment, I've been doing comedy, like I say, 13 years, probably full time, about 10. So
Must have
that's
been
how long I've been
probably.
going.
How long had you been doing it because I remember coming to Dog and Parrot to see you, and your dad was there. And
Yeah, that was my dad's first ever gig. I think about 5-6 months I'd been
aye,
going, and that was a new act competition. And
you won it,
I did, but I pissed someone off that night.
did you?
Because I didn't realise it was an audience vote. I didn't know that, right? So you rock up, my Uncle Eric rocks up, War Youngin rocks up, me father rocks up. There was Robbo there. Like there was
Might
a
have been. I can't
there was
remember.
a
There was a fair squad.
right, and he comes in, and the rest were just like 3 or 4 comics. Everyone else was literally there for me. So when I came to the clap, I thought like Anth Young and the whole place erupts, right? This lass went online and proper kicked off. She was like, it's an absolute disgrace. If you want to win a competition, just bring all your mates. Absolute dog shit. But I was like, all right, okay. So I emailed the guy, Lee Kale, who helps run Felton out now. I emailed him and I went, look, I've obviously cheated. I had no idea it was an act go through night, a fan clap off. I'll do it again. Give us a different night. I'll not bring anyone. And he said, no, Anthony, Cy Bugler, who was comparing, said you were the only act that made him laugh that night. So you deserve to go through. And the joke that made him laugh was the joke that I had to take out to get weekends at the stand. They kept just saying, like, he's so close to weekends, so close to weekends. And it was, I'm a bit of a chubby chaser. I like the bigger woman. My reason is there's very little chance anything that size has AIDS. All I'm saying, safe sex. So that was like one of my first ever. There you go, you're laughing. Stupid joke. And I had to take it out for the stand to get weekends there. But yeah, that's the reason I got through that competition. But yeah, that was less than 6 months in, and I think I got the stand after about 7 months.
So
I
were
got
you
the
more
weekends.
nervous for the Kevin Bridges gig, or were you more nervous for your friends and family being there and seeing it?
Friends and
Yeah.
family all day. And I'll tell you now, this has just happened to us. We'll probably get into it a bit more later. I've had to get a real job for the first time in 13 years. I'm not just a full-time comic. I'm working for Apex Newcastle and I'm doing loft conversions. I work with my good friend Sean Jobson, and then he's got a lovely little inner circle of friends. I get to a gig in Whitley Bay this week and everything looks normal, looks a lovely gig. Sees an old friend, Grant, went and give him a cuddle. Great. I goes in the green room, having a bit chill with Matty Reid, Elaine Roberts, Fran Garrity. And then I goes out in the interval, and as I comes back, Jopper, the gaffer, is sitting at the table with Mickey Baker, who's one of the representatives from Dewson's, and Phil McKinley, who's got a big flooring company. And they're all just sitting with this big smile on their face. And I went, oh, no, no. And I stutter when I'm nervous. So I went back into the waiting area. And I was like, there's me. And I was like, I'm not going to be able to speak on stage. Like, you can give me, I've supported Call at the 10 Theatre, no problem. 1,000 people, no issues. I do Cash for Kids every now and then at City Hall, 3,000 people, not an issue. 3 dickheads from work, I'm stuttering and shitting myself like no one's business. So yeah, having my friends and family there scares the living bejesus out of me every time. And I'm
I've seen
always
that.
nervous.
I've
I'm
seen that.
always nervous.
I've obviously been to gigs with a lot of gigs with you, and I still see you. Obviously now, still pacing before the gig, and like you're going. I can see you muttering away to yourself, going over the lines in your head and stuff. So obviously
You're
that doesn't go away, does
always,
it?
you're always worried that this is going to be the time you get found out. This is the time they realise you're a fraud and you're not funny. But I had the absolute pleasure of working with Michael Redmond, who played Father Stone in Father Ted,
Right.
about 7-8 months into comedy. And I said, excuse me, Michael, I'd just like to ask, do you still get nervous before gigs? Bearing in mind, this man's done American TV. He's been in Father Ted. He's one of the best comics I've ever seen. And he said to me with this lovely Irish accent, he went, the day you stop getting nervous, quit, because you're an arrogant arsehole.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow. So yeah, I don't know if that sticks with us, but before every gig, I'm nervous before I go on, like,
So
every time.
obviously I'm a fan of the UFC, and George St. Pierre.
Yeah,
I
GSP, yeah.
listened to a podcast with him, and he said that there's only one time he hasn't been nervous before a fight, and it was for Matt Serra, and he got beat. So it was like,
Right.
goes to show, like, obviously, I think they serve a purpose, don't they? Nerves a little bit. Like if you,
Yeah.
like you say, if you were, that's quit. Like it's probably good advice.
They give you a little tingle as well. I yawn before I go on stage, and someone said it's something to do with the chemicals that get released in your body. Like, a proper
Yeah.
yawn, like goose. Then you go on, that adrenaline spikes, and you get that first laugh, and you're like, "Oh no, I forget. I'm actually alright at this job. I'm
Oh,
quite
good.
good at it." And
What
I
you
had
were
done the
saying?
Glee Club this weekend, and I was shitting myself. It took us 7 years to get in with the Glee. Worked my arse off. Finally got it, and I was dead nervous going up. And within about 3 minutes, because I love Glasgow. They were like laughing, cheering, clapping. I was like, oh yeah, no, I've got this. It's nice. It's a nice feeling knowing that you've got it.
Like you were saying earlier on, like you were shit at the beginning. I don't think you were, because I've just genuinely found you funny. Like I've obviously known you. We'll go way back, and
Yeah.
I've always just found you funny in day to day life. I think you're like quick witted and stuff, aren't you? So it's like, I think that helps. Or do you think you could sort of just get away with just writing material and
I've got to write material. You know this, Dan, not everyone does. I've got a very dark sense of humor.
Yeah,
My brain goes to some very dark places. I once accused a man on stage of murdering babies, just having cracked like a compere.
doesn't
Um,
surprise us.
basically, his name's Lincoln Rob. I said, you make me think you're the only Rob in Lincoln. Like, you go to baby wards, and if there's a baby called Rob, you go, and you kill it, right? And I was like, oh, shit, I'm so sorry. I shouldn't have said that. Who you with? And he went, I'm with me son. And I went, what's his name, Rob? And he went, no. And I went, that was the first one. And, like, he texted us afterwards, and he's like, that was really funny, but you realise you just accused me of killing babies twice on stage. And I was like, yeah, that's why I don't talk to the audience. So it can help. Sometimes when you need to compare, it can help being quick-witted. But because my wit is dark humour, you've got to be... Like, I've got a joke at the minute, right? I'll not spoil it for anyone if you come and say us. I've lost a lot of weight recently. I've lost like nearly 8 stone in a year. And I talk about that on stage. And I'll tell you now, Whitley Bay, full of old posh people, was not the place to do this joke for the third outing on stage. And I went, like, it's class. I get into this shirt now. This shirt's a medium. Just the other day, I got into a small boy's pants. His mum was raging, but, right? It's such a stupid joke. You can see it's a Gary Delaney style joke. You can see where it's going, but I still get there. And like the table of lads, the group of my mates laughed, but the rest of Whitley Bay just went, "Oh no, 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 not for us." Um, so yeah, that's my humour, man. It's dark, but I do write everything down, and I really test it before I go on stage.
So you touched on the weight loss there. I was gonna leave that for a little bit later on, but like, would you mind like sharing some of your journey? Was that like
Yeah,
was
man.
that like a pivotal moment where you sort of realised you had to do something about it, or
Yeah, it
just
was
something?
the time theatre with Carl Hutchinson. I was supporting him, and this guy come in the green room, and he's like, "I'm doing a before and after photos. I want to take a photo of your face before you go on stage, and then a photo of your face after you come off stage." I was like, "Yeah, no bother." And he showed us the photos about a week later, and I look uncomfortable in my own skin. Like it was, I look in pain. I obviously wasn't, but like I looked and I went, fuck, something needs to change. And then my wife had heard about the Monjaro, the injection, and she's like, a few people are getting into this. So I watched a few TikToks, a few videos, some very inspiring people out there, and I thought I'll take a punt. Now it was only like 80 quid for my first job, then it went to about 120, but I went right up the injections, and then it was costing us like £200 a month to maintain. But it was worth it because I was spending that money on takeaways. Me and Kate were spending between were £30 to £40 a week on takeaways, 100 and odd pound in food shopping. None of the stuff we were eating was healthy. You'd pick when you were out, and the money I was saving doing all that paid for the injections. It was well worth it, and the results were phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. I was shifting £4 or £5 a week. Some weeks, 1 week I think I lost half a stone in a week. And then in February, I wasn't happy because I could see that everything was sagging. I was losing definition in my arms. I wasn't happy, still not happy with my face, but I wasn't. So I started the gym. I started going to the gym. I'd done couch to 5K. I started that in March or April. And that was, if you, I mean, you've done running anyways. You've done some
Yeah,
marathon stuff.
yeah.
If you tried couch to 5K, have you?
Haven't, but Jade started it a few weeks ago, and then she got ill, so she had to stop. But she's going to start again soon.
My Kate started it and she
Yeah,
stopped an hour for
yeah,
no real reason. But it's, I mean, Jadel had told you it's like 30 seconds running, a minute walking, 30 seconds running, a minute walking for your first day. Then they just slowly increase it. And honestly, like week 3, I was struggling. I was like, when the fuck's this walking coming? I am goosed. Then by the end, week 9, I could run 30 minutes non-stop. And then a few weeks later, I seen Laura Norton from Emmerdale, who I went to school with. She was asking for someone to go and do a run for her charity, and cure Usher syndrome. So I said, look, I'm not great, but I'll do the running for you. And yeah, I signed up to the Great North Run with 3 weeks' notice.
yeah. I
And
know.
I managed the Great North Run, and I ran for a full until the last 3 miles. I didn't stop running. I made a jogged in parts, but like I kept moving. And I thought back to that couch to 5K in Marshall. I was like, where the fuck's that guy? Like the motivation I had, and it's all thanks to the Monjaro. You've got to have that bit of mental, you've got to have your own. I'll not name him. A friend of mine, had some Manjaro. And I went, is it working? He went, oh, I only had 7 slices of pizza the other night. No, that is not how this works. If you're listening and you're on the fence about going on a weight loss thing, you've got to make the change. You've got to make the lifestyle change. You've got to eat healthy, lesser portions. You'll not eat crap because you don't crave chocolate, you don't crave crisps, but you've got to make that choice yourself. You've still got to put it in. And the amount of people that have said, "You're cheating, you're cheating." Nobody was telling us I was cheating my daughter of a dad when I was going to die in 10, 15 years' time because I was 20 odd stone. I was going to have diabetes and I was going to have cholesterol problems and heart problems and visceral fat around me. Nobody was telling us I was cheating my daughter then. So why are they telling us I'm cheating now when I'm prolonging my life and I'm feeling the best I've ever felt? It's a fucking human brain's a weird thing. How people will tell you, oh, you look ill. You've lost too much weight. I looked ill when I was 20 stone, mate. Nobody was telling us
Yeah.
that. Hey, mate, you're massively obese and you're going to die soon. Nobody said that.
Yeah.
But hey, you're too
Exactly.
thin.
No.
Me neighbour, 2 seconds down, sorry, I need to tell you this. He must weigh about 30 to 35 stone. Right? He's my mate's dad. And he came out the other week and he went there, hey, Anth, you're looking. And I was expecting him to say good. He went, hey, Anth, you're looking old. And I went, what, sorry? He went, you're looking old. I went, are you fucking kidding me? I went, I'm in the best shape I've ever been in. I was like, I've got me muscle. I've got muscles. I went, I'm 11 stone 13 instead of being 20 stone. I was like, I'm in great shape. He went, aye, but it's aged you. You've got grey hairs and wrinkles. That's just me age, mate. I'm 42. Honestly, I was ready to deck him. 35 Clem, and he couldn't even say good job. He had to have a dig at us. And I
Yeah.
don't know if that's the human mentality or what,
It
but that
is.
really
It
annoyed
is.
us. Like,
It's the crabs in a bucket thing. Once you start doing better than certain people, they want to just pull you back down.
yeah.
I heard about that. Obviously, you know what
No,
you've
I
heard.
haven't. No, I get
Uh,
the analogy just off that, but yeah, go for it.
so there was another one I heard where it was like monkeys. They put monkeys in a room, and they put like a ladder in the middle of the room, and then they put like a banana at the top of the ladder, and the monkeys would try and like obviously get up and get the banana, and every time they did, they blasted them with like ice cold water, so they stopped doing it. But then what happened was they replaced all the monkeys, and the so they would replace them one at a time. So they took like there was 9, obviously the original ones in. They put a new one in. So the new one seen the banana, went up the ladder, tried to get it. The other ones pulled them back down before it got blasted with a cold water. And then they gradually replaced all of the monkeys. So that in the end there was none of the original ones, and not one of them would try and get the banana because the other ones just pull them back down. And it's like
Yeah,
what society does. It's like people want you to do well, but as soon as you start doing better than them, they don't like it. It's like holding a mirror to them, isn't it? It's like they see what they should be doing, and
yeah,
they're not doing it. So it's yeah, but no, when you said about the Great North Run there, that is inspiring because I remember doing the park run and was sitting afterwards, and you told us about it, and I said this was like you say about 3 weeks before the Great North Run, and you said I'm doing the Great North Run, and I said what's the furthest you've ran, and you went 5K.
it
No.
is. I done an 8. I managed an 8K. It might have been 10 before the Great North Run. That was the furthest I ran before doing 21.3K or something. It is something mad. There was an old woman on the run, by the way, absolute head case. I think she was doing this on purpose. She was stood in South Shields, and when I got there, because it's quite hilly once you get to Gateshead, it's up and down.
Yeah,
She went, Howie, you've seen, that's the last of the hills, no more hills. And I remember going, what a belter. I said, what a belter out loud. I must have got 20 more yards and this massive hill appeared out of nowhere. I just went, you old bitch, like out loud, and this bloke next to us burst out laughing. He went, that's what I was thinking. She's at the bottom just like having people on. No more hills. They'll be fucking good in a minute, Brian. No more hills. Honestly, I was absolutely raging with her. But the run was class, you know.
it's a good atmosphere.
I wore my headphones most of the way, and then I was like, what am I doing? And I took them off, and the bit that got us, people shout Anthony. Go on, Anthony, because they can read your name badge, obviously.
Yeah, and that threw me the first time I did it.
But there was a few, I forget what I do for a living. And there was a few like, go on, Anth Young. Hey, Anth Young. And I was like, oh, they fucking know who I am. I was like, get in. And one woman made us run back on myself. She's like, you promised you'd take me ice pop. So I like turn around and run back and get an ice pop off a lady. I was like, thank you very much. So that was lush. I didn't expect the atmosphere to be as awesome as it was, to
Aye.
be honest.
I watched it on the telly this year for the first time I've ever like sat and watched the whole thing from start to finish, and that made us just instantly say, I want to do it again. I've done it 3 times before. The first 2 times I didn't train for it. The third
Mental.
time, I was young and daft. The third time, I did train for it because I wanted to get sub 2 hours, and I got norovirus the night before. Like the kids were ill that got it from school or whatever, and I was just wiped out the night before. I was going to pull out. I didn't. I turned up. I hadn't ate anything. I'd been on the toilet all night.
Brilliant.
Still give it my best, and I got 2 hours 4 minutes. I was gutted. I think if I
Did
hadn't
you?
had the norovirus, I would have smashed it. But it was like, but I've still got that. I still need to get that sub 2 hours. Do you know what I mean? So I've signed up. I'm doing it next year. So
I'm waiting till January. I've got to go in on the January one. I emailed Kiarusha and I was like, look, it was an absolute privilege to run it for you. I'd love to do it again. And like, yeah, we'll get back to you. And then I don't know how long I can really wait until it's I need it confirmed.
yeah,
So I don't know if there's anyone who wants us to run for your charity, give us a shout. But I'm going to put in for the ballot. I also want to do the Bladen races as well. Once that opens, I want to put in for that. It's only 10k, so I'll be able
yeah.
to manage that.
I
Only?
remember sitting. I remember sitting at like I was saying that was that same time when you told us that the furthest you'd ran was 5k, and what you were saying about other people as well. But you were saying it about yourself. You were being a bit hard on yourself, and the lad who was with you called you out on it, and he said like you can't cheat your way. Like it's cheating. You can't cheat your way around a 5k. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
like you say that it's cheating, but you can't cheat that. You can't.
I find I say that, and this is giving you an insight into my brain. I say stuff before that people think it. So,
Observation comedy.
hey, you've lost weight. Aye, but it's because of the
Yeah,
injection. I'm cheating. It's the
yeah.
first thing I say
Most
because
comedians, I know what you're thinking, innit? That's what the first thing they say
I
when it comes to like new comedians. A lot of them, I know what you're thinking. I look like Johnny Vegas or
Johnny
whatever you used
Vegas.
to
That
say.
was my first line for years. Years.
Johnny
That and then
Vegas and Ricky Gervais.
Ricky Gervais. Aye,
Aye,
they were the two.
aye.
Now people just tell us I look like me dad, which is mad because my dad was skinny and my mum was fat. So growing up, I was always getting told that I look like my mum's side of the family. Hey, you look like an Anderson. Now I've lost weight. You look like your dad. Oh, so when I'm fat, I look like my mum, and when I'm skinny, I look like my dad. Class. Like, really weird.
Lost it.
My internet's just gone off
Lost
there,
signal.
Dan.
There we
That's
go.
not you.
That's
That's
fine.
mine.
That's fine. I'll edit that bit out. If I can figure out how to do it. If not, fuck it. I'll just leave it in.
The lasses left all that mad stuff in. I don't know if you ever listened to that one, but they left
No,
all
I've
that in.
seen a clip of it. What were you talking about? I can't remember, but I did see a clip of it and they were laughing their heads off at you, like, so
That
it
was
must
nice.
have
It was a
went
good
down well.
podcast.
No, yeah, I thought you looked like your dad the other week when I seen you with a mustache. That was when I mostly thought you looked like your dad.
I keep growing it in every now and then 'cause Emma goes, put your cowboy mustache on. But like, I work near schools and I can't be waltzing around with a mustache all the time.
Do you think you get your sense of humour from your dad?
Um, I think my dad had a darker sense of humour,
Uh,
but he didn't have he wasn't a very outgoing man, like for crack. When he was drunk, he'd get up and sing and have a big crowd of people, but sober, he was a very introverted person. Turns out I actually get me crack from me granda. When he was out on the clubs and that, he used to get up and sing Walk Carol and Me, no, Emma and Me and Walk Carol Make Three. And he used to just make up songs and sing songs at the end of the night and stuff. And me godfather, my Uncle Rob, he was always cracking jokes and stuff when I was growing up. He done my favourite joke. It doesn't work on the podcast, but you know the one where you put your hands around your eyes and you're going, "Who's that?" It's me, man, you daft cunt. I love that joke, you know. And he taught us that, and I still use it to this day. So yeah, I think my Uncle Rob was a big influence. But my dad had good crack. He was quite sharp and witty.
he was,
But he was very much an introvert at the same time.
yeah. So, I've got like an interesting question for you, just a little random one. If
Okay.
you could create a comedy lineup of any comedian in the world, live or dead, say 4, 5, 6 comedians, who would it be? Who would be headlining?
6. I mean, headlining is Billy Connolly. There's no. ifs, buts, or maybes. Big Yin is a massive inspiration for me. I had his I've still got it in the house. I had his triple box set videotape, VHS kids. I've now got a massive DVD collection of his. I used to just watch one, two, three, and then I'd start again on a night time. Every night going to bed, I'd have a Billy Connolly tape on. And it was his storytelling and how he talked about his family and stuff, and Pamela, his wife. I loved it. I loved all that. So he's my biggest inspiration. So definitely him to close it. For MC, I'm going to go with probably the best MC, but I don't want to burst people's bubbles. I've not heard a single good word spoke about him in the comedy circles. Peter Kay. So Peter Kay will be me MC. I think he's very good. In the middle, I'm going to stick Victoria Wood. I thought she was fantastic. Smack me on the bottom with a Woman's Weekly. Let's do it. That's such a good. I really enjoyed her musical comedy. She was brilliant. I'm going to stick Ramsey to open. I think Chris Ramsey's genuinely fucking brilliant.
He is brilliant.
You watch his comedy, and there was a throwaway comment. I was watching it. I was watching it with such intrigue. I don't laugh out loud that much at comedy anymore because I'm too busy analysing it and seeing where he's going and why you're doing this and why you're doing that. And he had this throwaway comment about a hotel room lock. And I was like, that was a weird. I remember in my head going, that was a weird place to put that story. And then at the end, that was the crux, was a callback to that and a big
Yeah.
punchline. I remember just sitting going,
Clever.
shit the bed. That was amazing. And his speech at Hutchie's wedding was the same. He set something up as a best man speech, and at the end, bang, that was the punchline. I was like sitting there going, he's just given masterclass of stand-up during a best man speech. So I'm going to stick Ramsey in there. I'm going to also stick a current comedian, Ramesh Ranganathan, in. Rom's stand-up, I've had the pleasure of working with him. Absolutely brilliant. Makes me laugh so hard. I don't want to stick Jimmy Carr in because I think he's went a bit shit recently.
I love Jimmy Carr.
I love him, and I've been to see him several times, but I watch his clip online now, and there's just, I don't know if he's just a little bit disconnected from his audience. Now he's a multi-millionaire, which is easy to do, to be honest. I'll tell you now, fuck the people. If I become a millionaire, quitting comedy. Who else is there? All I'm thinking of is local comedians.
I'm gonna switch it up a bit. What about local comedians? What about the local scene? What about lesser known people? If you could put a show on to give people a platform, give people that big break that you like. Are there any? Because there's a few I can think of, local comedians who I really appreciate, but people don't know of. Do you know what I mean?
Well, Gav Webster's the standout. Gav Webster is absolutely
he's very
phenomenal.
northeast though, and he's very niche to the. Do you think he?
Nah, he can do it elsewhere though, Gav.
Yeah,
Have you seen his Liverpool joke?
It's
genuinely classic. He's like, he can say, "Hey, Liverpool, isn't the Beatles from around here? Don't you know? You never mention it." And he's like, "Yeah, fucking so what, mate?" He goes, "Well," then he's like, "It's £20 for your petrol." It's just the way he does it.
Yeah.
I love Gav Webster. And then you've got ones that you struggle to see as much, like Jason Cook. Jason Cook, you can only really see him at the Customs House, and he's absolutely phenomenal. Elaine Robertson is coming on leaps and bounds. She's just emceed me twice in recent days, and she's absolutely class. She's all over TikTok. She's doing really well on the socials. She's doing brilliant. Big fan of Elaine. I mentioned her before, Louise Young. She's just done live at the Apollo. She is amazing. Obviously, you've got the guy who mentored me all the way through, Carl Hutchinson. You can't really look past him. He's class. But a bit further afield, there's a guy called Jack Leto. I had him on with me Anth Young and Friends show, and Jack absolutely smashes it. I've never seen Jack have a bad gig. Well, I've seen his second gig ever, and it was ropey. The rest of it's been class. Chris Washington, he's just supported Jason Manford on tour. Washy's class. He's Manchester based. He's phenomenal. And even Matty Reid. Matty Reid's a great local act. Smashes it up and down the country. Lee Kyle smashes it up and down the country. One of the better compares out there. Big fan of Lee. And my mum's favourite comedian's a comedian called Fran Garrity. Not even me, I know. And Fran's fantastic as well. So there's loads coming through. But I'm not getting many red rows and stuff, so I'm not around to see enough of them, unfortunately. bit of a dick move, really. I went to see, who'd I fucking see? Paul Heaton from The Beautiful South. And
Right.
someone come up with us, I was right in the front row, and she's like, "Hey, Anthony, it's good to see you." And I was cracking on, and she could tell, and my wife could tell. I didn't have a clue who she was. And she's like, "Oh, you've got no reason to remember. My name's Julie. I'm a middle spot." And I was like, "I am so sorry." But like, Red Rose, there's 10 new acts on every time you do a gig. Like, I'm too busy. Like I say, I'm pacing, I'm thinking about my own stuff, and I can't watch other acts till I've been on. So, yeah, it's a little bit arrogant now. If you are listening to this new act, I very much apologise.
Yeah, there's going to be a few people upset that you've left them out in there, probably.
Oh, aye. Raoul Coley, let's not forget Raoul. Raoul's a
I
good
like
friend of
Kai
mine.
Humphries, mate. I think he's great.
Mate, I forgot Kai, you know. He's on, and he's smashing it as well. He's
Aye.
unbelievable. Scotland as well. Mark Nelson, Ray Bradshaw.
Mark
Um,
Nelson, yeah, he was good.
Mark Nelson's class. But yeah, Gav Humphries. And you know what it is? He's a nice guy. That's the best thing. In comedy, there is some CUNTs out there, but Kai is genuinely a lovely human. So it's good that he's doing as well as he is.
So I didn't really want to. I didn't really want to bring the mood down, but like I know you're someone like myself who's suffered from like mental health problems. Um, do you think comedy's helped you with that?
Yeah, I'm quite open and honest when I say comedy saved my life. 100% it did. I was very depressed 13, 14 years ago. I just lost my granddad. I'd moved into his house. It was a big empty house. I was living by myself. Didn't have a girlfriend. I was working in call centres, which I absolutely hated. I hate speaking to the general public. All I want to do is kick off and complain. I haven't got the time of day for that. So I was in a really dark place, and I sat at a table with a bunch of pills in front of me. I was going to end it all. And I didn't. Very thankfully, I didn't. Um, and the next day, I read in the paper that the stand had opened in Newcastle. So I started going to the stand on a Wednesday to Red Raw, on a Thursday to the Cheap Night, and on a Sunday to Gab Webster's Sunday Assembly. That was my weekly routine. I went there 3, 4 times a week. I became a friend of the stand. I went and seen tour shows. So I seen Danny Boy. I seen Craig Campbell. I seen the guy from Ballamori who done a cricket thing. I forgot his name. I seen all. It was also in the Full Monty TV show. I seen all these acts, and for them 20 minutes or however long the act was up there, I forgot about how shit my life was. Um, which is why I love doing comedy, because even you don't know what day someone's having. You don't know if they've thought about it themselves. And if for that 20, 30 minutes, you're making them forget how shit their life is, it's a great feeling. And I'll never know. I'll never know if I've ever made anyone feel like that. But I know I was really, really struggling with my mental health, in comedy saved my life. Through comedy, I met my wife, which I never seen at that dark time. When you're in them dark places and you think there's nothing else for you and there's no other way forward, you don't know what's around the corner. When I was sitting with all them pills in front of me, I never imagined I'd have a 9-year-old who's my double, who makes me laugh every single day, and who I want to throttle like I'm Homer Simpson and she's Bart Simpson every single day. But I never imagined that in my wildest dreams when I was sitting there ready to kill myself. I had no hope, but there was hope, and comedy gave me that. I met my wife through comedy. I've had my daughter. Um, I've got a hell of a friends network through comedy, and I get to go out there and make people laugh. So yeah, comedy very much saved my life. I still have my down days. I'm currently going through a thing with my wife where I'm living with my mum. We're talking about trying again. You know, we're seeing where it's going. But I've had dark days. Even now, I came home a couple of months ago and just broke down on my mum. I sobbed like a little baby, because I didn't see an end. I've walked away from a fully paid for house. I've said, "Oh, I just have it. You and the Ben. You know, that's your home." And I'm living at 42 years old in my mum's bedroom. Which, not with me mum, I must point out, she's got a 3-bedroom house. But like, it's sometimes you still have them dark days, and I've got a real job for the first time in 13 years. And you know what? I enjoy it. I enjoy going into work. I'm doing loft conversions for Apex Newcastle with Jopper. And he had no right to take me on either. Um, it's well known that I hate working. It's well known that I'm constantly on the sick, that I'm a lazy little prick. But he took me on, and I graft me nuts off for him because I owe it to him. And he's a good gaffer and he's a good friend, and he's helped us get through some dark times as well. So yeah, even now you still have your dark days, but you got something to live for because you've got that 9-year-old, and you don't know where you're going to be in 10 years' time. So you might win the lottery, you might win the postcode lottery. Um, so yeah, depression's a horrible, horrible thing, and it's
Yeah.
a main killer of blokes our age. But here's the thing, Dan. I'm not surprised that it's got such high numbers because I contacted the NHS a few months ago when I had that mental breakdown when I sobbed like a baby on my mum. I thought, you know what, I've got to go to the doctors. And they were like, oh, sorry to hear you're depressed, Mr. Young. Yeah, the waiting list, see, you okay waiting? What if I'm not? Like, well, you can ring a crisis team. Like, just make sure you've got a good support network. Make sure you talk to your friends. I've got a really good support network. I can speak to any one of my mates. They know I'm a lunatic. They know that I have me down days. And they know, like, if I'm a bit snappy, I'll just go, sorry. And they're like, no, we understand. So make sure you've got a good support network because I'll be honest with you, the NHS isn't doing shit at the minute. And that's not their fault. They've been stretched around their budget. I'm well aware of everything. But it's just a bad time to be a depressed person in the UK at the minute.
I don't know about you, but like obviously when I've felt low before, like people say, "Oh, just talking that." The last thing the last thing I ever want to do is talk to anyone. You don't want to put it on anyone else. Do you? You don't want to like
Uh,
burden anyone else.
be a burden. Yeah, yeah. And you never are. I think it's because and I know. I've had people reach out to me. It's awkward because I will speak, and I've always said, fucking hell, if you're listening to this and you don't even know us and you're struggling, send us a message. And info@anthyoung.com. That's my email. I've got a website, anthyoung.com. Messages. I'll chat to you and I will try my best. But when that first message comes through, I shit myself because I don't know what to say. It's a struggle. So with that, I also don't want to put that onto someone else because I know what that position is.
Exactly. I
And my wife's just had it. My wife's obviously struggled. She's going through a separation, and she's got a friend network. And I think her friends have admitted that they've basically struggled with Kate's depression, and it's hard for other people. So I'm the same as you. Talking's the last. How do you start that conversation? Hello, Dan. Just cried
exactly.
like a
Yeah.
baby. Like I, I thought to my dad, it was when I was with Kate, so it must have been about 7 months ago. I was just in the bathroom, just thinking about my dad and how he missed my daughter's life. And, even though he went to the baby office and sent us a baby when he passed, like, and Dan, honestly, I sobbed like a 5-year-old kid. And it just felt so fucking good. Like, when people go like, bloke shouldn't cry, bollocks. Have a good cry. It feels amazing. Um, but yeah, it is hard to talk to people. I will say that.
I think it's really hard. Like, and it's genuinely the last thing I want to do in that moment. I think it's good after the fact. I think there's too much like emphasis put on the talk thing, like just talk and all that. And I don't think that's the answer because, like I say, but in my opinion, if it does help, then mint do it by all means. But I find it helps more after the fact. Um, Having serious conversations, like having someone. I think that's why women are better at it because they've got like better friend groups that they can like talk to and that. Like,
Yeah.
whereas with blokes, it's more like take the piss and like I think this is probably one of the only times how many years have I known you? It's probably the only time we've actually sat and had a serious conversation.
Yeah, no,
No
you're bang on.
distractions, no not on your phone. You know what I mean? You're like we're like actually having a serious conversation, and that's like what I'm looking forward to doing about like trying to do a few more podcasts because hopefully someone might hear this and it might help them. And if it helps one person, then it's fucking totally worth it. You know what I mean?
It is, and I always say to people, right, mate, I said this on my podcast, where I'd have the Anth Young and Emma Young podcast. We can't do it at the minute because all Emma wants to talk about is fucking me and our mum splitting up, the dickhead. But I said I'd done a really serious episode about my depression and everything, and I said at the end, you know what helps? Just writing a letter. Put what you're feeling into that letter. Get it out, and you put that in that letter, and it genuinely lifts a weight. It sounds stupid. You don't have to send it, but a lot of people did, and they sent it to me with "don't reply." And I read it, and I took on what they were going through, and I respected them, and I didn't reply. A couple of people wanted replies, and I give them it. But if you are suffering, honestly, sit and write it out, and also just write a few things that are fucking good in your life as well. There'll be good stuff. You just can't see it at the minute.
Exactly. That's
Um,
like what you were saying before about you couldn't see a future. That's why most people are depressed. And it's one of the biggest things that's helped me in the last few years is like setting goals that I can get excited about and having something to look forward to. That's helped massively for my mental health.
did you just get that alarm there as well?
No.
Oh, just on my side. Sorry.
Just on
I've
your
got
side.
my laptop overheats and it makes like a
Yeah.
siren, and I thought that'd come through to you, so I shut myself there. Sorry, mate.
Can't remember what I was saying now.
You're just on about how it helps you with your
Aye, just
depression.
setting goals
Like,
and stuff. Like you touched on it before, where you said like people just when you were feeling it, like you couldn't see. You had no way of knowing that you were gonna have like a daughter and you know what I mean, like a good life and stuff. Like I think when people are at that in that moment, they can't see a future. Do you know what I mean? They can't
yeah,
see, so they just lose all hope, and that's what when people start feeling suicidal and stuff. So like I say, one of the biggest things that's helped me out, and and that's another reason I want to do like like a podcast like this. So talking about it might not be the answer, but knowing what to do will help. Do you know what I mean? So if I can sort of
yeah.
share some things that have helped me and I can get people on that can share stuff that's helped them, then like they might know what to do next time they feel like that. And like I say, set some goals, so, like get something you can get excited about, like create like an exciting vision of your future. Do you know what I mean?
No, so, yeah, having goals is a massive thing. I like having holidays. I know that sounds stupid, but like, why would I want to top myself if I'm looking forward to going to Albufeira twice in a year? Um,
For
so
my start,
yeah, I'll have well, your stag do's one, and then I'm going in July with the lads as well. So yeah, I know your stag do's high on my agenda. Looking forward to seeing some people I haven't seen in a while, like my cousin Scott. Never fucking see him. And little Fat James. Looking forward to seeing Fat James Cowan.
I seen him
Little
last
piggy.
Friday. Had me first drink last Friday, and nearly
Did you?
13 months. Aye.
You quitter?
I'm still feeling it this week. That's
Are
it.
you
See,
really?
you're doing the crabs in a bucket thing now. You're trying to bring me down. You see. Aye. No, it was. I'm still feeling it. I think I don't know if it's because I'm coming down with something now, or whether it's like genuinely. I've
Off the
just
drink.
felt unmotivated all week. Like I've had no energy, and I genuinely think it's because of that. Like,
Just having that drink again.
yeah,
I don't drink very often, mind you. When I do, I go overboard. But like, I watched my dad. My dad used to drink like 12 cans a night, every night. Um, and when I go out, like, I mean, I get ridiculously pissed. To the point where, I'd done CBT training, so I'd done cognitive behavior therapy. And before I'd done that, I had to speak one on one with this woman. Now she was Eastern European, and I just don't think she got the British culture, because she was like, "Do you drink?" And I went, "Yeah, but I only go out once every couple of months." And she's like, "What do you drink when you go out?" And I was like, "Okay, I'll have a beer in the shower, and then I'll go to Hezzy Club where I'll have 3 or 4 bottles, and then we'll go into Jesmond where I have 6 or 7 pints. It's only at this point of the night where I need cocaine, so I'll get a £50 bag of cocaine and do that, and then I go into town where I have another 6, 7 pints, and then I go home." And her jaw was on the floor. She's like, "Do you need help?" I went, "Oh, no, no, that's just a night out in Newcastle. But I only do it like 3 times a year, and I don't even do in cocaine now because I've got a kid. I can't afford it. No, and family take all your money. But that was my night out. And the woman, her face was just like, holy shit.
I
But yeah, I
mean,
don't even do
I
that
agree
now.
now. Like you just adding fuel to the fire. If you've got mental health problems by drinking alcohol, you're literally poisoning yourself. You can't. You're like putting petrol in a diesel engine. You can't then wonder why it's not working. Do you know what I mean?
And
But
it's
it's
the
like,
come downs the next day where your brain overthinks everything
and
as
it's
well.
not just
Then,
for
oh
me. When
God.
I used to go out on the drink every weekend, like every Friday night, I'd finish work, go to the pub for a few pints, and it wasn't till like every Tuesday, Wednesday night. That's when it would hit us. That's when I would feel really low. Like I would start feeling
Right.
like really depressed, and like, what's the point? And now this is boring doing the same thing every week, going to work, going out on a Friday, then fucking pulling yourself together on the Monday, then doing it all again. Do you know what I mean? And that's
Yeah.
how people get depressed. It's like like
It,
what
And
is the
it's a
point?
cycle. How do you break that cycle? Because if you don't go out on the weekend, you're in the house with them thoughts even more.
Go to the comedy club. You don't have to drink. I've come with
Yeah,
you loads of times and drove, and it's like I don't know if you remember, but there's been a few times where I've sent you a text and said, "Oh, we're going to go and see like some comedy soon. Or we're going to go to the Red Raw or something soon."
yeah.
And it's normally because I'm feeling a little bit low and I want something to do. Do you know what I mean? I want something to take my mind off it.
I haven't been to a red. Honestly, me going to comedy, I can't tell you the last time I just visited it and enjoyed it. Um, and like you say, you're the one that I go with, so you're going back to probably when I was with you the last time. I just went and enjoyed a comedy show. Um, Like, I've been asked to judge the Felton Out New Act of the Year competition next Tuesday, but I'm actually filming a docu-series next Tuesday called Fine in Football, so I can't do it. But I love that. I love going and watching the new acts coming through. And I feel a bit of a dick judging them like Simon Cowell, but like I do enjoy that. I think it's class. And the last time I've seen a couple of great acts where I don't like giving unsolicited advice. So I sent them a message afterwards last year saying, like, look, can I give you some feedback? And there was one act, she was fantastic. Just she told stories like I used to that had no punchline, but her stories were funny and she was very engaging. And I was like, I've remembered your stories because they were that good. This is how I do it. And I just restructured it and I was like, there's your punchline. There's another punchline. There's your topper. And I wrote all this out for her. And she was just like, really, she was up her own arse already. And she was like, yeah, I might not do that. And I was just like, you know what, go fuck yourself.
Yeah. Never
I'm
gonna
not
learn if
saying
you can't take
I'm not
advice.
saying I'm a great comic, but you're not doing punchlines. And there was honestly there was so much scope for our stories. But because all she done what I done at that competition, all her friends and family went all the time, and they all laughed and they were telling her how mint she was. And it's like, yeah, that's great. You've got a great basis, but you need to add to that. You need to grow. And unfortunately, she just wasn't willing to grow. And this won't surprise you. I've not seen her again since.
Oh well. Right, I want to bring the mood back up a little bit because it's a bit fucking miserable that in it. So, can you tell everyone why you kicked your dog?
He was being a bastard. So I didn't want this dog. We need to get that out there first and foremost. I didn't want a dog. I wasn't looking for a dog. My
Doesn't
mum
mean you
rang
have to
us.
kick it.
He did. He
I'm
does.
joking, by
Honestly,
the way.
I wish I fucking had a kick the little prick for how much shit he caused us. Basically, my mum rang us one day and she's like, "Do you want a dog?" That threw us. I was like, "Tell me more about this dog." Basically, it was a family in Manchester, got a beautiful dog, and they just couldn't train him. They thought he was maybe ADHD and he had something wrong with him. Genuinely true. So I was like, "I'll come and meet the dog," and like he was hyper. Like, don't get us wrong. But his dad at the time was just throwing balls for him. So he's just like back and forth, back and I was like, well, that's not great because that's stimulating his brain. So I calmed him down. I was like, sit, paw. And I was like, nah, this dog's trainable. And I think they paid about 2 and a bit grand for him. And they just wanted him to have a good home. So they gave him to us for free. We brought him home. And I had him trained. My neighbour who works with dogs all the time gave us a book and I was working out. I was restricting his food and I was feeding him in treats and it's well recommended. So I'd done all that, had him trained. The only thing I couldn't train him on was the lead. And he snapped the lead one day. So I finally caught him and like, he's pulling like a dick and I'm like pulling back and he literally got tangled under my feet. And when you say kick, I flicked him with me toes, like a little dink, right? I kick him harder than that, right? I just went, how am I, son? So like I give him that little flick and this woman just went like, I seen that. And I turned, I'm bearing in mind, I'm stressed to fucking high heavens. And I went, what? She went, I seen you kick your dog. And I said, oh, fuck off. Right. And I went to keep walking. And she was like, I'm not having this. And she got off camera out. And I was like, oh, I mean, this never made the stand up bit. But I was going like, what are you filming me, kid, for? Like, is there something wrong with you? You're filming kids on the beach? Like, what are you doing? And she was like, I'm putting you online. I was like, oh, yeah, man, fuck off, will you? And I kept walking. And later that day, I got a text saying, like, how you seen that as a photo of you doing the rounds? And I was like, no. And like, she'd put on as if I'd started just booting my dog all over the place, like proper booting him. And I was like, oh, yeah, nah. And I looked down, it had like 800 shares,
I seen it. It came up on.
hundreds of comments. Like, and it was all like, I'll boot him, I'll give him a good kick. And and it was all women. And 99% of them I could have knocked clean the fuck out. Like, they just, I mean, there was one wife who was a big lass. It was my wife. I don't know why she was commenting. That made the stand up, I'll tell you that much. But yeah, there was just nothing but dogs abuse. And Dan, it killed us because like, he's my mate.
You
Like,
love
I
dogs.
don't
I know.
abuse him.
Yeah.
And I went to bed. I was in bed about a week. It kept going. I was getting threats. People were ringing me football clubs. I was wearing my Hezzy gear. So I reported it to the police. And I was like, this has to stop. I'm getting like absolutely abused. And they're like, well, we'll have a word, but there's nothing we can do. And what do you mean there's nothing we can do? I went, she's literally lying online and it's causing grief for me. Well, there's nothing we can do. So I said, this is to a police officer. I went, well, what about if I went online and said that you touch kids? And he was like, what? And I went, what if I do that? What if I go online and say you touch kids? There's no basis to it. There's no truth in it. It's different that. I went, it's not, mate. I went, I'm getting abuse and you should stop it. Oh, well, we'll have a word. and they never took it offline. And I wish I'd done a bit more because it turns out she's just a horrible, lonely alcoholic. And she's always on. You can go on the Dudley page. She's always on there commenting about people kicking the fence at her dogs and stuff. Like nobody's kicked that fence. Like she's an absolute heed the ball. So yeah, that was a horrible dark time. That like the kicking the dog, but it made for good comedy.
That's
Like
what I was going to
again,
say.
I
Aye.
had to write about it. I couldn't let that go. So the punchline was, I'd done the whole Karen thing and like David pretend I was David Attenborough, and it made for a great storytelling. But I was like, this woman stand there videoing us, and I can't move now. I'm in some sort of Truman Show. And my daughter assessed this situation. She looked at the Karen, looked at me, back at the Karen. She went, Dad, why is that strange lady videoing me? And I went, you are a fucking genius, knuckle bump. And that's how I got out of it. That's how I got out of the storytelling. But yeah, the whole thing, I think the story itself was about 15, 20 minutes of just jokes and punchlines. And you've got to take them dark parts of your life. I wrote 2 stories now about my dad dying. You've got to take them parts of your life and just make them funny. But yeah, the kicking the dog, fuck. I wish I had kicked them. For honestly, for how much shit I got, I wish. I love that kid, and he's a crossbreed. He's mixed. He's half working dog, half lazy dog. So like, he's got one personality that's had a spoonful of night all, and one that's had 4 lines of cocaine. He's just off his tits constantly. There's no in between with him. Like I love him with all my heart, but Jesus, he's hard work.
It's, I suppose it is like therapy in it for you. It's got to be like, it's probably the good part about what you do. You get to talk about your problems and all that on stage, don't you? So
I do, and you know what it is? Like me and Kate, we're having more problems at the minute and stuff, but fucking, I speak to other comics, and their wives never do what mine does. She sits when I'm writing a show, and I'm a lunatic, by the way, down when I'm writing. I'll be in the mirror trying new material, and if I don't think it's funny, I'll just start berating myself in the mirror. I'm like, you fat, useless prick, have you ever made anyone laugh? You are absolute garbage. Like, I give myself loads of crap. But Kate will just sit with a pen and paper and write everything down that I'm saying and then go, that works, that doesn't, there's something there. And then I go away and work on it. So yeah, she's been absolutely phenomenal. And she struggles with depression. She's had to have CBT since the marriage is broken down a bit and stuff. And she's doing phenomenal. And she's lost like 8, 9 stone as well. So I've got to give Kate a shout out. Like she's doing just as well as me. But I mean, struggling a little bit more mentally because I'm the one that like fucked it all up, basically. But
well,
yeah,
I
she's
hope you
done well.
hope you sort things out. I hope you get things
Nah, she's a
sorted.
pain in the arse. We'll see what happens.
So, shall we wrap it up there then, Anth?
You can't do that.
I really appreciate you doing it. And do you want to tell anyone that might listen to it where to find you, and if you've got any gigs and that coming up? Or
Yeah, gigs wise, I mean, I'd say check my website, but I don't update it. And what I would say is I genuinely mean it. info@anthyoung.com. If you want to reach out and chat about your mental health, about your state, I say it before, sometimes just write a letter, send it to us with do not reply, and I'll read it. And honestly, you don't even need to worry about a reply or be anxious that I'm going to say anything back. Just get it off your chest. And if you want to do it anonymously, you can do it on my website, anthyoung.com. All the photos of when I'm 20 stone. So I apologize for that in advance. But yeah, I've got nothing to advertise, nothing to plug. I'm about to do a documentary called Finding Football. And if that does get the green light, then I will be plugging the shit out of that next time.
class. Right. Thanks again, Anth. I appreciate it. And if you ever fancy a Red Raw, just let us know.
Yeah, we'll get that in. There'll be some good acts coming up.